Welcome in everybody to Fantasy Pros MLB. It's time to hit the waiver wire this week with me, Joey P, Joe Pisapia, and the Welsh. So let's jump right in with 2 feet, Welsh, because there's some hitters still out there on the waiver wire that can help everybody. Just a PSA right now of Chandler Simpson still floating around on your waiver wire. He is up to 58% rostered right now on CBS. I'm guessing even higher in some other leagues potentially. If he's still out there and you're looking for stolen bases, please grab this guy because he's going to help you there. Welsh, he's hitting at the top of the order. We talked about him not that long ago on our prospect with the Welsh, or prospecting with the Welsh, or prospected. I don't know. We were prospectusing with you, and we talked about Simpson. We talked about the impact he can make. He's not going to give you power, but as you alluded to earlier, he's going to give you runs. He's going to hit for some contact, and he's going to give you steals. And that could be a very useful thing, especially in those head-to-head roto formats.
Yeah, speaking of feet, it's the fastest feet in the West or East or really in the world at this point. Chandler Simpson, he really is in that must-own territory. It is only 3 categories. It doesn't look like there's going to be much to any power, just kind of across the body type of hitter. But that they threw him, like you said, immediately into the leadoff spot is why he's so intriguing. We saw him snatch another stolen base off the Diamondbacks early on. He's kind of hitting consistently. We don't have some of the plate discipline issues that we worry with some of these guys, under 20% K percentage. Like, it looks like he's here to stay. He's going to be a force on the stolen base market, probably going to be 40 at least plus this year. He shouldn't be left out there because it isn't just that one category. Batting average, right, runs, stolen bases. We like Chandler Simpson, and that's why at CBS, he's already almost at 60%.
But he is elite in that category, and that does account for something. Another guy from the minor league ranks who's already made a huge impact with the Marlins, already hitting cleanup as well, Agustin Ramirez, the catcher, who's got some speed of his own, which you don't see out of a lot of catchers. He's got some power, very aggressive approach just across the board, on the base paths, at the plate. I like him. He's fun. I didn't get to see too much of him in the minor league, so I had to watch him come up on Monday and Tuesday. And so far, the results have been pretty darn good at the major league level. So far, over 2 games, he's only hitting 800 right now. Now, of course, that's going to come back down to earth. But, Welsh, you've got to love right now that Ramirez got shot right into the middle of this order, which desperately needs some help. Conine's going to be out for a long period of time, so they're missing him in this lineup. There's opportunity here for him. Now, in the minor leagues, he was hitting .254 with a slash OBP of .313 and a .479 slugging, 3 homers, 12 RBIs, and 5 stolen bases. That's the key. So in 2 catcher leagues, obviously, be aggressive on him. I think we can all agree on that. His roster percentage currently is around 23% as of recording this. But, Welsh, in single catcher leagues, is he going to start pushing that envelope a little bit?
Yeah, I think he already is. I mean, we talked about him luckily on this channel, but way before he got called up. And the hard hit is spectacular. It's an average, consistent hard hit. So like his average EVs are going to be higher. Max EVs are great. He steals some bases. He stole a base in his first game, got caught in the second one. He wants to do a little bit of everything, but he is a bit hyper aggressive. He's a rookie. So I think there are some potential risks that we don't see right now because he, hasn't struck out and he's super exciting. He's hitting cleanup. The single catcher league is really interesting. I've gotten a ton of questions of like Austin Wells or him. I still lean, even though Austin Wells hasn't done anything spectacular so far, I would still lean on a guy like Austin Wells, but in shorter formats where there's only like a handful of really good catchers in the first place, plenty that are underperforming. I actually do think you could let go of guys like Austin Wells in a 10 team or, any underperformer, Shane Langoliers or whatever. And you could go and just see if this clicks for a long period of time because there are other replacements. In deeper leagues, a little bit hesitant, but like you said, 2 catcher leagues, it's very exciting. That lineup is a little but it's getting better. Xavier Edwards at the top. You got Connor Norby. If he's going to be hitting cleanup, there's opportunities for RBIs. If you keep stealing, that's fun. I just don't expect the average to be there, and we're not going crazy about catchers in the free agent waiver wire market. But he is someone to monitor, especially in shorter leagues.
Now, another hitter to monitor, maybe even to pick up this week, Noelvi Marte of the Cincinnati Reds, third baseman. He's rostered in just around 25% of leagues currently, and this is a guy that served an 80-game suspension last year, came back from that suspension, and did absolutely nothing, Welsh. I mean, he was dreadful. 210 over 66 games last year, and he is just 23 years old, and I think that's something we have to kind of remind ourselves. Once upon a time here, not that long ago, in fact, just in the beginning of 2024, Marte was one of the most sought-after young players in fantasy, right? You go back and look at the minor league track record. He's been there for a long time, even though he's just 23, because he was signed very young, 400 games in the minor leagues, a 279 batting average, an 818 OPS. A player so far getting this opportunity right now, getting the call, playing third base, Steer, Candelario, there's all kind of pieces moving around for the Reds right now, but right now Marte is hitting. And in those 8 games he's played so far, he's got 2 homers, 8 ribbies, hitting 340, OPS over 1,000. So I know people have been burned by Marte before. This feels like an opportunity to buy back in, and maybe, just maybe, Marte sticks around this time and we finally get perhaps the post-hype prospect that we were hoping for last year, just a year later.
The third base prince that was promised. Maybe. I'm not 100% sure about that. It's pretty inflated by one big game. He had that 7 RBI game. So a lot of his RBIs and one of his 2 homers came in there. But not to poo-poo on it, I would say one of the most encouraging things is the strikeouts. He's only struck out, what has he played in? It looks like 9 games so far, 8 or 9 games. He's only struck out 3 times. And that was a big bugaboo. It's like quality of contact. Things have already stabilized. Like, he is technically barreling a little bit more. He's striking out a ton less. He's walking a bit more, but he's not hitting the ball hard. And you got to wonder if that's going to be part of an approach change, because the hard hit is down, but he's also getting the ball in the air more. 15-degree launch angle, which is way higher than even last year, or obviously his rookie year. So I think there's some encouraging things. The ballpark is really great. The problem is there's just a lot of mouths to feed there that, if he starts to have some slowdown, they just kick him back down to the minors, because you still have Strand coming back. I think it's very, getting back going. You've got Candelario there. Like, it's very likely that they could send him back down. But I think this is worth speculation, especially in kind of bigger formats. I don't really think, if I'm being honest with you, he's a 10-team type of player you're looking at. But in 12-team, bigger bench, 15, I probably would speculate at this point, because if those strikeouts keep down, that's going to be the game changer for him to hold around, because now he's making better plate decisions. He is still stealing bases. He's got a couple since he's been up. He's made a couple impactful games, even if they're not like spread out and it's over just a couple. So we might be back into a Noelvi Marte, fantasy boom. And if it happens in that ballpark, I mean, he's 2020 live for sure if it happens. So
see, at 23 years old, man, I'm willing to buy back in here. I don't think it's going to cost you too much to find out. If you're right, the potential's there for a league winner type impact. I'm not saying he's going to be that, but if he lands somewhere in the middle, a very useful player, available in almost 75% of leagues right now, certainly worth looking at. One more hitter, and this is a Welsh guy. I tried to pick him up last Sunday. I was outbid. I was very frustrated. He's a platoon guy, but he's on the right side of the platoon. It's Pavin Smith of your Arizona Diamondbacks, who qualifies at first and outfield in most leagues. Holy crap, is this guy on fire right now, Welsh? Right now, we're looking at first 58 at-bats, 4 homers, 9 RBI, has 1 steal, but he's hitting almost 400 over that span. I mean, he is just crushing baseballs everywhere. So it's a great offense. We know that already with Arizona. Pavin Smith, how aggressive should people be on him, despite the fact he is still in a platoon? So I just want to throw that out there again. But regardless, the productivity is there despite the platoon.
I mean, if you, I'm going to knock myself down a peg before I build it back up so it's not too annoying. But like, this is going to be kind of a sandwich of it. First thing is, like, you wouldn't have had to bid on him if you were in on my take, because Pavin Smith was like a must-own type of player because of the strong side platoon. Now, here's a negative thing before I talk positively about myself. This will make people happy. I was very much into Jock Peterson, who was in this role last year, thrived in Arizona, great contact rate, hard to hit. Short side of the platoon, was still a 20-plus homer guy, lots of RBIs. He was massively fantasy valuable, even though he was a platoon player. I'm like, hey, let's draft him. He is horrible, like 41 straight at bats without getting a hit. It is embarrassing to think that I suggested him. So let's bring ourselves down, Welsh. Back up. Well, all offseason long, what was the one thing I kept saying? Pavin Smith has all of the hit ability to be what Jock was in this lineup. Great EVs, great zone contact percentage. I kept building everybody up. He's strong side platoon. He's Jock this year. And guess what? He is Jock. He's better than Jock right now, even though it is a platoon. The strikeout rate's up, but hard hit, barrel way up. Expected batting average, almost 300. Yes, it's 100 points lower than what he's hitting, but he's hitting 400. He's hitting in the middle of the order, too. You've got, when Ketel's healthy, you've got Corbin Carroll. They're batting him 3. Crushed a homer just the other day. Platoon or not, Pavin Smith is in a great run-forced offense where he's hitting in the middle of the lineup on the strong side of the platoon. He should be owned because he can be in a rotation of outfielders for your team, even in that corner infield eligibility. I'm still surprised he's under-owned, but I get it. It's a platoon. I would be picking up Pavin Smith if it fits for your roster. But every first baseman's amazing this year. That makes it tough too. Torkelson, Soderstrom, there's so many amazing corner infielder guys.
Zardo's been good if he qualifies there. There's been a lot of guys. Kurt's just getting the call too. All right, before we get some pitchers here, just a reminder, the waiver assistant is available for you if you're struggling with waiver wire decisions in your fantasy baseball league. The waiver assistant is here to help. Just sync your league for free to receive personalized waiver suggestions tailored to your roster and league settings. You can quickly see which available players are there to improve your team and by how much. So download Fantasy Baseball My Playbook app right now, wherever you get your apps, or visit fantasypros.com/MLB My Playbook. You don't have to do things alone. Gain the edge on the waiver wire today. Again, only with Fantasy Pros MLB My Playbook. All right, here's some arms. Let's talk first about a starting pitcher, Andrew Abbott, who first two starts this year have been pretty good. 11 innings over those two starts, just 4 hits, 3 walks, 16 strikeouts for Abbott, a .64 whip, a 1.64 ERA, all of which are incredibly unsustainable, but Welsh at the same time. Very impressive for Andrew Abbott. The question is, how aggressive should people be right now currently? On some of the sites, you're looking at a guy who's rostered almost in 60% of leagues already, so he might not be available in yours. But if you're in shallow leagues, again, if you need some pitching help, Andrew Abbott might be able to give you some help. The question is, once again, how much FAAB are we spending?
I don't know if I'm going crazy. I think Abbott's borderlining between like this really cool streamer and a guy that maybe you want to hold on. You know, the pluses are obviously the production, like you mentioned, sub-2 ERA. He's a 40% strikeout rate. He's not giving up really any contact. Even though he's giving up barrels, it's like 19% hard hit, which is ridiculously low, and expected batting average against is low. But he's down on his fastball. He's changed his pitch mix where he's going a little bit more changeup and curveball, and the sweeper has gone down. I think that's equated to more strikeouts, but he's a fly ball pitcher. That's not a great ballpark for that. You'd hope you'd be a little bit more ground ball-y, and maybe that's going to be part of the change of a changeup. So I don't know if it's really deplete of pitchers out there. You should probably be more aggressive. I think he is somewhere in that range of like streamer to maybe hold him through a couple starts to see if this continues. Because we saw this in the minor leagues too. He did this in, I think it was AA, where he had these big strikeout games, kind of deceptive on the fastball. I just think it's going to come back down to earth a little bit, but there's only so many pitchers for you guys to pick up on the wire.
He's had some moments at the major league level too, and I think that's what's tantalizing here. Maybe he's starting to figure it out and bring it on a different level. We'll find out soon. A few names in the bullpen to discuss too. Emmanuel Clase has not gone off to a good start to this season, that's for sure. He threw 30 pitches over the weekend, and then not one, but 2 nights in a row, the save opportunity went to Cade Smith, who's rostered in just 34% of leagues. I think he's worth speculating on. Then you've got Will Vest of the Detroit Tigers, rostered in just under 5% of leagues currently. Craig Yoho of the Milwaukee Brewers, rostered in 10% of leagues. So for me, I think Smith is the most intriguing if there's something physically wrong with Clase, and that is the reason for the poor performance. Because Smith, we know in terms of ratios and strikeout potential, we know what he could be. When you start adding saves in, that's great. So speculative add in deeper leagues, I'm all about. What about Vest, and what about that Milwaukee situation? Well, walk us through those potential other closers, because, you know, right now we're missing guys like Puck and a few other ones that are not performing up to what we expected.
Yeah, I'll just throw this out too. You might want to look at Shelby Miller right now. And if you want to go a little bit deeper, longer, go to Kevin Ginkel, who's not quite back yet, but both of the Diamondbacks closers are down. I agree. Cade Smith is the top of this list. Even if I think at the end of the day, like if Emmanuel Clase is healthy, he's going to be okay. There's a little bit of question. There's some shoulder discomfort, and like that makes you feel uneasy. Cade Smith should be at the tippy top of the save speculative market. I think Will Vest is someone you should look at. They're kind of burning and churning through different relievers there. He's had some really early good results. His K percentage is almost around 30%, like 6 to 7% up right now. He's not giving up any barrels. His sub-1 ERA is supported by a sub-2 ERA. And this is what I really like. He's got a mid-90s fastball, but this year, his slider velo is up by almost 3 miles per hour. It's a little closer to 2.5 miles per hour. And the whiff percentage has gone from 29% to 57%. So I think Will Vest is definitely someone to look at. And Yoho puts up some crazy spin, crazy good minor league numbers. I think he's a little bit further away. I think that's more of like a long-term speculative. But my order here would be Cade Smith, Will Vest. And then honestly, I'm probably in the either like Shelby Miller now saves or Kevin Ginkel. If he gets activated quickly, he'll be thrown into it before I would go to Yoho.
All right, so those are the guys to add this week in the waiver wire. Who are you adding? Drop your comments below and subscribe to the Fantasy Pros MLB YouTube channel right now. We're trying to get to 30,000 subscribers, and we can do it with your help. Don't forget to ring the bell till it goes ding for notifications so you never miss an episode of Leading Off or any of our amazing content all week long here on Fantasy Pros MLB. That'll do it for us, but the story of the game goes on. For the Welsh, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.